Hang on to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What is going on, Entertainment? So I'm coming to y'all with another video. So today we're doing the Wendy Williams docuseries. This is going to be just the first part. I'm gonna do a separate video for the second part. So this is just the beginning of it. Okay, so because it's a 2-episode docuseries. It starts off, first of all, this was so sad to watch. Like, just watching it was like depressing. Like, they literally documented somebody's breakdown for all of us to see, and it was sad. It was just sad to watch. Oh, my dog keep turning up this thing. Stop. Get down. I'm gonna do a separate video for y'all to meet him. So it starts off, and it's the way that they edited it too. Even though it's not funny what she's going through, there's some idiosyncrasies that have me keen, okay? There's little tidbits that I laughed. She came out and immediately bumps into light bulb. She's like, ooh, and then walks to her infamous pink chair. So that's when they start to interview her. Health-wise, you can tell she's not the best because her eyes are like bulging like this, out of her eye socket, veiny, all of that. You can tell she's not the best health-wise, and she sits down in the chair. They start to ask her questions. Mind you guys, if y'all don't know, I'm a big Wendy Williams fan. Like, my dad used to make fun of me for watching that show. Like, that was my bitch. Like, every morning, if I was off at school, I'd watch it. Like that, my dad used to be like, "Oh, that's your girl, that's your girl," because that was somebody I watched like religiously, whether it be her YouTube, whether it be the show when it does air. Okay, like that was something, and that was someone that I really do look up to because she, to me, saw a dream and she went after it. She was doing it before people picked up what we now know as podcasts. Okay, so shout out to Wendy Williams. It was just sad to watch. It really was. Like, oh, it was so sad. No, so they started asking her about drinking, and she says she loves some Tito's and vodka. Okay, she says she likes it. Tito's the best because how it makes her feel, and she loves to drink down vodka. So after the interview, they put like a black screen, and they said after this interview, they admitted her to a medical wellness facility. So throughout the whole docuseries, you notice they don't say the Guardian's name. They block it out. We call the Guardian Kathy from Dance Moms. She looks like Kathy from Dance Moms, okay? Throughout the whole series too, Wendy doesn't like to talk about like her mental well-being and question about it. They asked, she was driving the car. They're like, oh, so like you're going to see like a She's like, yeah, a psychiatrist. I don't need a psychiatrist. I'm fine. How are you doing? No, I'm fine. Okay, get out of here. She's driving they're driving her from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor. And she feels as if it's kind of insulting for people to question how she's doing mentally, which we could tell, like, she is going through some small forms of dementia, just the way that she's acting out and lashes out on people. We as Black people got to do better. Just because you got a therapist don't mean you crazy. We're fixing the parts of us, okay? Yeah, I told y'all last year I had started doing like therapy and stuff, but then I had stopped the beginning of this year. I regressed. Oh my God, like really. I'm telling you, it really does help out because I noticed when I stopped, I started going back to the old ways. Like I'm telling you, like it really does. I was talking to one of my mods recently, and she was telling me how like you need to go back and stuff like because she posted on her story how like it's working so well for her and how her therapist is speaking life to her. So I think that's a huge part of why as Black people suffer because we don't believe in that. We think we just got to fix it ourselves. And next thing you know, people end up turning to drugs, alcohol, and some more ish. So I think that's a huge issue as to why as Black people, a lot of us end up failing because we don't believe in mental health. We don't believe in getting help for mental health. We think getting a therapist means that you're crazy. If you go to a psychiatrist, you have a mental illness. I don't have one, okay? I just go because I got family issues. How about that? Okay. Ain't that, well, yeah. Anyways, so they come across, she tries to come across as like everything's all good and perfect, but then we see some of the stuff that she does that shows us that she's going through stuff. So one is the trainer. She goes to the trainer. That scene was the best scene for me. I'm sorry. And not gonna lie, I think she has a crush on the trainer. So the trainer got his hat on, muscle buff ass dude. He comes out of there, and then he's like, "Okay, so Wendy, we're gonna be training you for some weeks now. We need to get you back to the physical health that you was in when you first, started this whole thing. Okay, so he gives her like a balancing stick. He's like, okay, I want you to hold the balancing stick and step up on this platform. And she's like, no, take that back. I'm not using that. I'm not using it. No. And then he's like, you sure, Wendy? She said, excuse me, you take that pole and you take it back. Excuse me. He takes the pole or whatever, and they move on to the next exercise. Really, he just stretched her out. He grabbed her boots, okay, boots with the fire, and started grabbing it. And then she's like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. That feels good. That feels good. I think Wendy liked it because it gave her flashbacks to when Kevin was pounding them Big Debbie cakes, missionary. So I think that's why she was intrigued. Okay, she had her airwife fitted cap on, and I really do think she had a crush on the trainer. It was the push and pull. All right. So he tried to get her to do some more exercises, but she wasn't just having it. So she ends up leaving. And this is where we see the real spark in Wendy that still exists, because when they walk outside and paparazzi is there, the trainer was like right next to her. So the trainer was gonna get the shot. Wendy's like, no, move. I don't want you in my shot. No, go. Will, come here. And then she takes the picture. She's like, I love the pictures. And then she takes it. I'm telling y'all, there's still a part of her that still exists in there, but it's just the dementia. You can tell it really is dementia because she lashes out so quickly and out of nowhere, especially in the second part, which we're going to get to. But the first part, you can see glimpses of it too. So this Will guy, Will, he comes across a little bit as an enabler. Just a little bit. The producers even asked her, how do you feel about Will? She starts to get emotional. I think Will reminds her so much of Kevin physically. That's why she sort of has him around, because that's like a placemaker. Because he did say in the docuseries that after the divorce, that's when he started managing her. So I think he was just a placeholder for her. But he does come across as, I'm not going to say he doesn't care, but he cares too much about, well, from what we see in this docuseries, her career elevating versus her health getting better. And that's what kind of like made me side eye him this whole thing. Cause I'm like, why would you want her to come back on TV if she can't even formulate a proper sentence coherently at a time? It's just like, it's giving like cash cow. That's what bothered me about the whole thing when it comes to Will. Let me know if y'all feel the same, because I felt the same way. Okay. After the whole paparazzi thing, we get to some more people that they interview. We get DJ Booth, we get the nephew, and then we get Wendy's longtime friend. Y'all remember DJ Booth? I remember when she used to interview him throughout the week of the show and used to like kiki with him back and forth. Like, people don't realize how great the Wendy Williams show was. Like, there was so many things that made it great. Like, she didn't even have to have a celebrity guest and the show would still be interesting, because she could pick on Suzanne, she could bother Norman, pick on Norman, and it would just be funny. So that's what made the show. On to some more interviews. we get Wendy getting ready for her glam, and her management team is asking her, "What do you want to wear? What do you want to wear?" And she's like, "I want to wear Chanel. I want to wear Chanel. I want to wear Chanel." The management team, the lady comes out. She brings out some other options that's not Chanel, and she's like, "No, Chanel. Didn't I tell you Chanel? Go back in there. Go back in there." She's like, "Wait, Wendy, wait." So she ends up going back in there to grab the Chanel because apparently in her last interview, she had Chanel already in her footage. So she goes back in the closet and she tells Will, she's just like, "Man, I don't like her. I don't like her. No, I don't like her. I don't like her anymore. No." And Will's like, "What did she do?" "Because she bothers me. I don't like her." That's the little dementia that you see coming out because she's so snippy and quick to snap. That's what it was right there. And the stylist, the management team, she was doing a little too much. If she already tells you she wants Chanel, why argue with her? That's my whole thing. Like, y'all got to understand somebody who's like that in their mental state, like, and you trying to help and you're working for them. It's one thing if you're just around them, you don't got to deal with it. But when you're working for them and you kind of know what they're dealing with, you got to kind of know how to maneuver that. That's why the publicist, in my opinion, even though other people wear a snap, you could tell the publicist knows that she not wrapped too tight up there and some stuff is going on. So that's why the publicist kind of ignored all the stuff that was sent to her. That management team, she did not handle it right. It's like she was getting offended, but it's like she didn't even curse you out. She told the publicist she needed lipo. So I don't think she handled that right. Now, she also was getting her nails done. She starts getting snippy with the nail lady. She's like, "No, I want one coat. I want one coat. No. One coat. She's like, "You want to get married? You like kids, huh?" And the lady's like, "Yeah, I do. I want like one daughter. Yeah, one kid. She's like, "Oh, okay. No, you're not doing it. Are you stupid?" And then she asks her, she's just like, I think she's disgusted by me. It's okay. Mind you, some of this footage was probably shot a couple of years ago. So they didn't know what we know now. So imagine working for her at that time. You probably think this lady is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but don't know what she's diagnosed with. The family and friend interviews is where we find out all this tea. The nephew, to me, seems the most genuine. And in my opinion, if the son couldn't be the guardian, if the nephew's old enough, I didn't know how old he is. I don't remember them saying how old he was. To me, he seems like the right guardian. I'm saying it. Either the nephew or the niece. If it's not the son. Those are the only other two I feel like would be a right guardian for her. The nephew told us everything. It didn't seem like he was withholding any information. And in my opinion, he told us more information than Will did. Will sounded like he was holding information back that he knew. The longtime friend also seemed genuine, but I would just keep it family-wise. I feel like the niece or the nephew would be the best options besides the son. Okay? And I really feel like if Wendy's son was not alive, I don't think Wendy would be alive right now. I feel like she would feel like she would have like nothing to live for, and we would no longer have Wendy. It would probably be some overdose thing. I know it's sad to say, but it's like I just feel like we would go down that Whitney route. Like she would be no longer. Okay, so now the nephew is the one who really told us all the information. He said after work from the Wendy Williams show, Wendy would grab her vape and then grab a bottle and then go into her room, lock the door, and start to drink and then smoke her vape until 5 a.m. the next morning and come out the room, which is really, really sad. Okay. Now, this was the funny part. Wendy lets us know how she got the divorce. So they called Kevin called her and said, "Hey, the mistress had a baby." She's like, "Oh, she did? Oh, okay. We're getting a divorce." She said, "There's no taking it back. Once you had a baby, there's no marriage counselor, etc." A lot of people give Wendy flack for the whole Kevin situation. She did what a lot of women nowadays are not strong enough to do. She walked away. You got to give her that. Although it may have fucked her up, and that's why she's in the state that she's in now, she had at least the strength to say, I don't want to deal with this. This isn't fair to me. And people got to give her props for that. I feel like a lot of people say, haha, that's what you get for talking about these celebrities. But all these celebrities that she talks about, they wouldn't have the strength to do what she did and walk away. They would have stayed. I'm just saying. So then we get to DJ Booth and COVID 2020. Wendy had to work from home, and a lot of her shows ended up being delayed because of it. And she was confused on some of the topics. I remember watching it around this time, and I used to think that, I'm like, why does she sound like she doesn't know what she's talking about? Like, she'll be like, so Britney did, and I wonder if it never gave that she knew exactly what she was saying. And it sounded like she was reading off a prompter. That was incorrect. Will says that he had cue cards in the house and would have it up and read to her stuff to say. Clearly, we were doing a good job because we noticed that a lot. I peeped that 100%. Like, she did not know what she was saying. That's when a lot of people started alleging like the alcohol abuse and then the drug stuff, because she always sounded confused. All right. Now, here's what made me question the whole situation with Will and DJ Booth. He's questionable to me because they asked her in regards to the day of when she had to be admitted to the hospital, what happened and did you call an ambulance? He said no. And then they said, did you call police? He said no. So we end up finding out that Kevin is her medical proxy. So a medical proxy is basically in charge of any health affairs of someone. They have the power of attorney. It's just the way that he answered the question. It's as if he knew like more happened that day that he just wasn't willing to say. And I'm like, at this point, like, what do you know that we all don't know? Like, was it more than just alcohol at that point, and you just want to kind of like enable her not say it so that way you keep it under covers? That was just kind of weird to me, because when they asked the nephew the same question, he answered the questions loud and clear, and he didn't try to hold back from answering any of the questions. That was just weird to me. Like, shout out to the nephew. Okay. Now, they interviewed Kevin Jr. I'm telling you, Kevin Sr. spit him out, eat him up, and spit that nigga out. He looks just like him, but with hair. That shit was crazy to me. Twins. Of course, he's still going through emotionally. Wendy being in the state that she's in, and he says that he knows that he can forgive her because people go through things. And towards the end of the first part, the producer, which this is what I mean, y'all know she's in a fragile state, and Lifetime, y'all fucked up for this. Y'all know she's in a fragile state, and y'all gonna ask her, do you take care of your son financially and emotionally, or something to that effect? And Wendy just broke down. I totally agree with her breaking down the way that she did. The way the producer asked it was crazy to me. Why would you ask her that knowing how she feel about her son? Like, what do you think? He just gets the money out the wazoo? Because at that point, she was still partially in charge of her finances until the Guardian took over. That was crazy to me. Okay. And then she ends up breaking down. She starts crying. She's like, my life. She starts talking to the cameraman. The cameraman offers a hand. She starts getting emotional. The whole thing was just really sad to watch. That first part, like, it was really, I got a little emotional throughout the whole thing, because I'm like, God damn, like, you just watched somebody that like was so regular, so normal, and then just literally like turn to like crap in front of you. So it was really sad to see. Let me know what y'all think about the first part. Who did you guys side? I thought the whole situation of this docuseries, do you guys think that she's being taken advantage of from just this first part? Stay tuned for part 2, and we're out, babies.
Ain't no personal thing.